Good morning. I'm Tom Putt, the Director of Bay County Mosquito Control.
And I'm Mary McCary, biologist with Bay County Mosquito Control.
Today's presentation will show a summary of our 2015 season and also highlight our annual report. Some of the things we're going to cover is field operations, that is the control of adult mosquito and larval mosquito, biology surveillance, and also disease surveillance, which is also very important, education, and source reduction, which is our 2 scrap tire drives.
Right, as Tom alluded to, some of the data that we're going to be talking about today will include things like acres treated, miles of roadside ditch treated, the number of mosquitoes we collected, and the species of mosquitoes we collected. And we'll also be focusing on disease surveillance and our primary goal of protecting public health.
Early each spring, mosquito larvae slowly begin development in the cold woodland waters of Bay County as a result of flooding from snowmelt and spring rainfall. It is crucial to control these spring mosquitoes as they are an abundant, long-lived species with a heavy biting and nuisance factor. Monitoring spring Aedes larval development is critical in early spring in order to begin a timely aerial application in flooded woodlots. In 2015, mosquito larval surveillance observed larvae in woodland pools on March 19th. The most notable feature of the woodlots at this time was how dry they were, approximately 50 to 70% drier than a typical year. An inch of rain fell on April 8th, however, which helped bring woodland pool levels back to normal and caused another hatch of larvae and an increase in larval density. Woodland pool test sites were set and larvae counted to determine pre-treatment populations before the start of aerial treatment. Aerial treatment began April 14th, lasting 12 days until April 25th, a few days longer than typical due to strong winds on 5 days halting treatment. The aerial program has gone on for over 3 decades in the Saginaw Valley and remains the best way to dramatically decrease numbers of spring Aedes mosquitoes. The preferred control method uses a bacterial product known as BTI, applied to seasonally flooded woodlots to control mosquito larvae. Earl Spray Service of Wheeler, Michigan, used 3 aircraft to apply 3 pounds of BTI per acre to over 43,000 wooded acres in every township in Bay County. Calibration, loading, and fueling of the fixed-wing aircraft took place at Barstow Airport in Midland. The use of Barstow Airport allows for a paved surface runway that's in a centralized location for the treatment of the entire county. Sites were treated with BTI corncob granules at a dosage rate of 3 pounds per acre. This is the second season Bay County Mosquito Control treated all aerial acres at the 3-pound rate compared to the 4 to 5-pound rates used previously. This allowed for expansion of the treatment area while still achieving a high mortality rate. After woodlots are treated by air, the flagged woodland pools are re-dipped and a count is taken of any mosquito larvae still left in the water. These post counts indicated an average larval mortality of 94.6%, which indicates favorable control was accomplished at the 3-pound per acre dosage. Treatment with BTI assures treatment for only mosquito larvae throughout the water column. Frogs, tadpoles, water fleas, caddisflies, and numerous other organisms that were found in woodland water habitats before treatment continue to exist in large numbers after treatment. Staff helped with aerial quality control, conducting post-treatment surveys in 44 woodlots to assess proper dosage rates and application of the BTI. After the completion of the aerial treatment program, several more technicians were brought on to begin inspections and ground treatment of small woodland pools not feasibly treatable by aircraft. The ground crews checked 203 wooded sites, dipping each one to determine the need for treatment. A total of 121 sites covering 148 acres were treated by ground crews. Untreated sites were either dry or wet but not breeding. Mosquito pupae were first noted on April 27th, but were found in larger masses on May 1st. The spring Aedes began to emerge as adult mosquitoes around May 7th through 15th, which initiated adulticiding, the control of adult mosquitoes through fogging operations.
You've just seen information detailing our spring aerial program, which takes place in mid-April. Once temperatures warm up, we transition into our summer season, and we focus basically on any water-holding habitat. And some of those would be containers, roadside ditches, flooded fields, and floodplains, hubcaps, anything at all that would hold water, just to name a few. The daytime crews would go to these areas and check for larvae and treat where necessary, while the nighttime crews will control mosquitoes in areas that are indicated with high populations by our light traps.
As Tom alluded to, in the summertime, whenever we get heavy rains that produce enough standing waters, we're sure to get a larval hatch. And if those rains stay around long enough, let's say about a week's time, we're sure to have adults come off about 2 weeks later. That's really our rule of thumb, is 2 weeks after a significant amount of rain, we're going to see adult mosquitoes. We use a variety of mechanical traps to sample the adult population, but we also rely on citizen calls as an indicator of where people are feeling the most pressure from mosquitoes.
The total number of summer breeding sites changes each year as new sites are added to the database and others are deleted. A total of 11,203 larval breeding site inspections were conducted in 2015. Only 18% of those required treatment with the larvicide material. Some of these sites were permanent breeding habitats, while others were temporary, and included ditches, containers, fields, woodlots, tires, idle pools, ornamental ponds, and the Saginaw Bay bayfront. Larvae are sampled by quickly skimming the water surface with a dipper. Some are collected and returned to the lab for identification. Technicians also control mosquitoes by dumping water from buckets, pails, and other man-made containers, a method of source reduction on a regular basis. This is the preferred method to eliminate mosquitoes from breeding in containers. It's important to select the appropriate control material and formulation based on what mosquito life stage is encountered in the water habitat, and the timing of the application is also crucial, as is the amount of product applied. As technicians search for mosquito breeding, they also educate Bay County citizens about how to prevent mosquitoes from breeding in containers around residents' backyards. Technicians leave door hangers when they encounter tires, reminding citizens about the residential scrap tire drives and the need to recycle tires in order to prevent mosquitoes from breeding there. In addition to surveillance and control in neighborhoods throughout the county, special attention is given to controlling mosquito populations at outdoor recreational events, such as the Auburn Corn Fest, Munger Potato Festival, Bay City Fireworks, and the River of Time. Bay County's topography is very flat, and most roadways are flanked by ditches, which divert water from the county's 1,400 linear miles of roads. Many ditches breed mosquitoes because they hold water for extended periods of time. Most problems with breeding occur after major rainfall events, which stimulate mosquito eggs to hatch. In 2015, ditch trucks logged 5,813 miles treated, which was 6% greater than the historical average. Most of the treatment occurred in Pinconning, Williams, and Monitor townships, with a combined total of 2,571 miles, or 44% of the total, coinciding in areas with major rain events. Treatment of catch basins or storm drains will control Culex restuans and Culex pipiens mosquitoes, known vectors of both St. Louis encephalitis and West Nile virus. These species are not considered nuisance mosquitoes as they feed primarily on birds. However, controlling disease vectors is extremely important in our effort to decrease disease potential and maintain public health. Catch basins may be found along streets, in parking lots, and sometimes in backyards. Staff monitored mosquito breeding in catch basins and treated a total of 32,415 individual basins. The above figure shows the number of catch basins treated in each township or city. The bulk of treatment took place in Bay City and Bangor, Monitor, and Hampton townships, the most urban areas of the county. Treatments reduced the number of vector mosquitoes during late summer, the period of time of greatest disease risk to humans. To assess the activity of Culex mosquitoes in city and suburban catch basins, biology staff randomly inspected 30 to 50 basins on 4 occasions. The basins are a perfect habitat, providing Culex mosquitoes with organically rich standing water and decomposing leaf litter that provides a bacterial food source. Basin surveillance on May 15th showed that only 8% of those checked were breeding with larvae and pupae. However, by May 23rd, the percentage infested jumped to 40%, which prompted the initial treatment. In order to determine efficacy and longevity of the control materials, basins were inspected every 3 to 4 weeks or sooner. Bay County is home to 150 retention ponds and detention basins that are designed to manage stormwater runoff to prevent flooding. Retention ponds usually include a permanent pool of water in their design, while a detention pond holds stormwater for a limited time or until the water either percolates or evaporates, which returns the area to its normally dry state. Certified technicians surveyed the ponds, making 369 individual visits throughout the summer, 78% of which did not result in treatment. When conducting surveys or larviciding of these ponds, technicians utilized aerial maps that detailed the location and size of each pond. This provided technicians a way to quickly locate the ponds, allowing for more efficient surveillance and treatment.
The next part of the presentation focuses on mosquito surveillance. This is really an important part of our program and allows us to see where mosquitoes are distributed throughout the county, and it also allows us to see where individual species are most active. Tracking the adult population really helps us to guide where the field crews should be in areas that need the most attention.
One of the main tools used in adult surveillance is a mechanical trap called the New Jersey light trap. From mid-May through mid-September, adult mosquitoes were collected in 14 light traps placed throughout the county in backyards with little or no competing light source. Samples were gathered 3 times each week, followed by counting and identifying species. Heavy rains and unseasonably warm temperatures in June and September caused a significant floodwater mosquito hatch, which is shown in this chart. The rains flooded ditches, woodlots, and fields, causing mosquito eggs to hatch. 2 weeks later, the adult population spiked, as shown here. This is an expected trend after heavy rainfall events. The total light trap capture in 2015 was 22,833 mosquitoes, 1.6 times greater than the number collected in 2014, and 154% of the historical average of 14,781. The above figure shows a historical perspective of light trap collections, with the average number collected in a given year represented by the solid black line. As you can see, the number collected in 2015 was far above average. The total number of mosquitoes captured in 327 CDC traps this year was 61,358. The summer floodwater species Aedes vexans and Aedes trivitatus remained at the top spot, representing 69% of the total. Most were collected in September following the heavy rains that fell early that month. Most females were collected in September, with 23,385 collected. However, an almost equal amount was collected in July following mid-June rains. Gravid trap placement ran from June through September, with 127 traps capturing 2,290 mosquitoes. Traps were placed in a variety of locations, including the immediate area of West Nile virus activity. Culex mosquitoes collected in gravid traps were grouped together and submitted to Michigan State University for West Nile virus testing. This figure shows a historical perspective of the average number of Culex mosquitoes collected per gravid trap. Collections from 2015 increased from the 2014 numbers, with an average of 16.4 female Culex mosquitoes per trap. While larval control is the preferred method of mosquito treatment, it's virtually impossible to find and treat all breeding sites. Therefore, adulticiding, fogging to kill adult mosquitoes in flight, is also carried out to control mosquitoes. Application rates are adhered to by using GPS units with technology monitoring speed and flow rates in each truck. Label recommendations are strictly followed to assure proper dosage rates and droplet sizes during adulticiding. To accomplish the latter, droplet measurements are taken several times throughout the season. When weather conditions are conducive to fogging, temperatures above 50 degrees and winds below 10 miles an hour, certified technicians treat cities and townships that have either the highest mosquito populations or noted disease activity. This year saw the routine use of the permethrin products Masterline Control 44 and Pursuit 44 ULV. Mosquitoes must come in contact with the droplets in order for the insecticide to be effective, so adulticiding activities take place after sunset when mosquito species are active and bees have returned to their hives. Bay County Mosquito Control continued the use of a truck-mounted electric ULV machine in the adulticiding fleet. The electric machine was incorporated into the program initially for the relative quietness of the sprayer, under 80 decibels. Adulticiding with this unit was prioritized to noise-sensitive areas in Bay County, including the campground at Bay City State Recreation Area, where the quieter machine would cause less distraction to campers at night. The unit includes an illuminated spray head to highlight the fog to verify to onlookers that the machine was operational and material being applied. Other advantages with this machine included the little to no maintenance associated with the electric unit. The absence of a small engine and other components eliminated maintenance on parts that easily wear out over time. The lightweight battery-powered machine is also touted as eco-friendly as it eliminates the emissions released by gas-powered machines. For management purposes, Bay County utilizes route maps during adulticiding operations. These road maps of each township show the most efficient route to follow when adulticiding, so all roads are treated and no roads are retreated or missed during a nightly operation. Mosquito Control partnered with Velocity Systems of Big Rapids to implement an advanced fleet tracking system for the 2016 season. 10 MQ track systems were installed in the 2015 off-season in 9 adulticiding trucks and 1 ditch truck to provide data throughout the 2016 season. The MQ track system uses an onboard computer and GPS to track location and rate information as application occurs. Reports are presented in detail over aerial maps, and live tracking is provided with up-to-the-minute location of vehicles.
The last component of today's presentation will focus on disease surveillance and its importance in our mosquito control program. In fact, the reason that mosquito control even began in the Saginaw Valley region back in the 70s was because of a 1975 St. Louis encephalitis outbreak that occurred in Michigan. So ever since then, it's been our goal to decrease mosquitoes, not only to improve quality of life, but also to decrease the disease risk to people and animals in our area. We want to be able to detect disease and be proactive to it before any human cases occur. To accomplish disease surveillance, we use a variety of mechanical traps. We have a New Jersey light trap, a CDC trap, and a gravid trap. We trap many adult mosquitoes throughout the summer, and in fact in 2015 we collected over 86,000 individual females. And each of those females is processed in our lab. Known vectors are pulled from the lot and put into vials and submitted to Michigan State University for analysis. Thousands of mosquitoes are tested that way every year. With worldwide outbreaks in recent years of dengue fever, chikungunya, and now Zika virus, disease surveillance is more important than ever. Although the species of mosquitoes that transmit some of those new viruses have yet to be found in our area, staff are trained and prepared to monitor for the local presence of any mosquito-borne disease.
A mosquito pool is a group of up to 50 mosquitoes of the same species collected from a trap, placed in a vial, and tested for mosquito-borne disease. 430 pools containing 11,211 females representing a variety of species were tested with the following results. Cochleatidia perturbans, 195 pools, no positives. Culex restuans and pipiens, 234 pools, 2 West Nile virus positives, and Aedes japonicus, 1 pool, and no positives. A positive pool indicates local mosquitoes are infected with West Nile virus and are capable of transmission to humans and other hosts. The positive pools were collected from a New Jersey light trap on Columbian Road on Bay City's west side on July 27th, and from a gravid trap placed at the Patterson Road Water Treatment Plant in Bangor Township on August 4th. We rely on Bay County citizens reporting of dead crows and blue jays as another method of West Nile virus surveillance. In 2015, we received 47 phone calls reporting dead birds throughout the community, compared to the 21 calls received in 2014. In 2015, 58 dead birds were reported, most of which were blue jays, American crows, house sparrows, and other blackbirds. All dead bird sightings were logged onto Michigan's Emerging Diseases website. Using the West Nile virus vector test kit, American crows and blue jays were screened by mosquito control staff to determine infection rates, with 7 testing positive for West Nile virus. Statewide, there were 18 human cases compared to only 2 the previous year. Human cases were mostly clustered around Metro Detroit and Grand Rapids areas, but 2015 showed 2 cases in more rural areas, Wexford and Isabella counties. Nationally, there were about 1,812 human West Nile virus cases with 98 deaths, which is 18% fewer cases than were reported in 2014. About 60% of the cases were reported from 5 states: California, Texas, Colorado, Arizona, and Oklahoma. Above-average rainfall and temperatures were paramount in the influx of mosquito activity. Average rainfall for Bay County from May 1st through September 30th was 18.5 inches, 2.5 inches above average. A mid-June rainfall dropped 4.5 inches of rain, while early September rains ranged from 1.9 inches to nearly 5 inches, with the heaviest rainfall amounts coming in Portsmouth and Pinconning townships. This figure shows the average rainfall amounts that were measured in a rain gauge network placed throughout the county from April through September. Rain events that drop over an inch of rain are typically sufficient to cause a new hatch of mosquitoes. There were 7 such rain events that occurred. Traps are the primary indicator of mosquito activity, but customer calls are also used as a means to indicate where mosquito populations are problematic. Bay County Mosquito Control received 883 calls reporting standing water with potential mosquito breeding. Most of those were received in June and July, with 258 and 223 calls received respectively. Technicians responded to 4,513 adult mosquito service requests received from Bay County citizens. Most of the calls were regular service requests for adulticide treatment due to nuisance mosquitoes. Service requests peaked in July with 1,418 received, followed by 1,005 calls logged in September, following the previously mentioned major rainfall events. On September 21st alone, 176 phone calls were received. In comparison to 2014, the level of service requests increased by 38%. Regardless of the type of service request, all were responded to in a professional and prompt fashion. In 2015, Bay County Mosquito Control received a scrap tire cleanup grant for $4,500 from the MDEQ. The purpose of the grant was to assist property owners and local units of government with the proper removal of abandoned scrap tires and scrap tires at collection sites. 2 community tire drives were held at Mosquito Control in 2015. A total of 1,913 tires were recycled. Semi-trailers were filled at the drop-off location. Trailers were then hauled back to environmental rubber recycling, where tires were recycled at the Flint facility. Tires were ground into chips and shipped to Michigan power plants to be burned as tire-derived fuel.
We are grateful to have the opportunity to share our 2015 annual report, and we're looking forward to our 2016 season, which we feel will probably be a very challenging one. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at our headquarters at 894-4555. Again, that's 894-4555. Thank you.